Hello, people, and thank you for joining me and my friends on the Game Files podcast. My name is Matthew, and I will be hosting discussions on all things dice throwing, button mashing, page turning, and screen viewing, from the past, present, and future of those things that occupy our spare time. Welcome back to the Game Files podcast. My name is Matthew, and today we've got a great show. But before we get started on that show, I'd like to introduce our guest. At first, we have the ever-present Radis.
Hello, it's good to be here. Looking forward to this topic.
And our reoccurring guest, Bewitched.
Hello, thank you for having me.
And his first appearance, but second on this podcast, Perfect Paul.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so today we kind of, decided that we're just going to kind of have a little conversation. We're going to talk about the different things that we've been doing, playing, reading, paying attention to, the entertainment that's keeping us busy while we've kind of been stuck at our houses and or just work and, kind of going through the last year and a half like everybody else has. And then honestly, we'll probably talk a little bit about the things that we're looking forward to now that things seem to be opening back up again, which is excellent. So to lead this, we'll kind of get started. There's a lot of cinema going on right now. We've had to do things differently. Movie theaters have been largely empty with things going on. So things have been creative on how they've been releasing movies, how we've been able to see it. HBO Max was a big one. I know Radis and I have been hitting that one up pretty hard. But, just kind of to get started, what are some of the favorite movies that you've been watching lately that have come out recently? And I'll go ahead and we'll get started with Radis since we always start with Radis.
Movies, yeah, with HBO Max, I thought I'm torn between the way they're doing it. Because, yes, I thought it was cool to get to watch King Kong and Godzilla twice opening night at my house. But at the same time, kind of still miss that going to the theater experience of those big name movies. So I will say I'm definitely going to try make sure that I see Black Widow in theaters when it comes out. Other than that, though, I think Disney Plus has been knocking it out. Man, Bad Batch is fantastic. Loki, even though it's only one episode in, is set up to possibly be the best of their current Marvel small screens, and that's saying a lot. Not going to talk about what happens.
No spoilers, guys. I actually haven't seen it yet.
No spoilers. No spoilers. But I'm just saying that says a lot because I loved WandaVision. It starts off slow, but it hooks you really quick. Wasn't as much into Captain America and Winter Soldier, but not Captain America.
Falcon.
Yeah. Anyway,
Falcon
Winter Soldier.
Spoiler alert, things change, but go ahead.
It was still interesting enough for me to watch through it. Been hitting a lot of the new anime that's on Netflix. Can't wait for the Godzilla Netflix to hit that.
That looks good.
Yeah.
He-Man's popping out before too long, too. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
That trailer looks really good. Just got my parents to sit through, and we just rewatched all Firefly. So I've been doing a lot of
that's great.
Older TV stuff. Fantastic. So, yeah. Yep. Of course, it's always funny because we'll get through that, and my mom will get to the end of it. She's like, okay, so when are we starting season 2? I'm like,
womp, womp.
Well, yeah. Because we just finished the Eden. Yeah, the Eden anime on Netflix, which is one of their new animes. It's only 4 episodes.
I haven't seen that one yet.
At the end of that, she's like, that's it? I'm like, only 4 episodes. We'll see if if they move on with it or not. So
yeah, that's cool. All right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been viewing.
Yeah. So Bewitched, what's your cinema been like in your household?
So I haven't really been watching series. We obviously watched WandaVision and then the Falcon Winter. My 14-year-old actually just had a friend over the other day and watched the first episode with me, so I'm very upset. I haven't actually seen the first episode of Loki yet. My 14-year-old and I just went through and watched all of the Marvel everything in timeline order. And we just finished up with WandaVision, so now we're going to watch Falcon Winter Soldier again. And then go on into Loki. So I am looking forward to Black Widow, but I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters. But we're kind of on a Marvel kick right now, definitely.
So you say you're on a Marvel kick. Have you finished Star Wars yet?
Oh, that's not Marvel.
Well, I understand.
That was a request that was made, 4 months ago?
We have 2 movies left. We went through our kick for that for a little bit. We got through 4 movies and then started Marvel again, and we got behind. We have 2 movies left.
2 is not 9.
I'm really confused
what 2
right
do you
now.
have left?
Yeah, what 2 do you have left?
Wait a second.
I got to look it up.
Never mind. I have a lot more.
So how many have you actually watched? I guess is the question.
4.
Okay, so you've watched.
4.
Oh, that's right, because you're watching it in
Starting with
order though,
episode
right?
1.
You're watching it in order
So you
from
watched
1
1, 2,
through
3, and then 4, right?
Yes.
So the last movie you've watched was the very first Star Wars movies ever released.
Correct.
Okay, all right. So at least we know where she
And
is. So she's,
I have to share a little bit. I don't know if I want to share this now or if we want to wait until the Star Wars topic.
I know what you're going to talk about. You're going to talk about Percy's reaction. So let's keep that on the DL.
oh, yeah, no, if it's a reaction,
Yeah,
leave it.
we'll do that one later. So for the listeners out there, there will be a Star Wars. Well, actually, a few Star Wars podcasts that we're going to do, and one of them is going to be the old perspective, the ones who watched it, like, watched them all their whole lives
6,
for
7,
40
8,
years.
1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11.
And then a couple of people, that being Bewitched and her child, that is watching it consecutively. So kind of to see like how that shaped out. So that'll be kind of fun. All right. So basically, this time you've been, yeah, sure, you watched a couple of Star Wars movies. That's fine. But you've basically just been going through the Marvel kick and just getting that all like taken care of.
Much. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So mostly just the live action. If you've dabbled into the animation yet?
No.
Not okay. I was gonna say the Marvel animation is a little bit harder to watch.
For Star Wars, you should start with the Ewoks cartoon and then follow it up with the Droids cartoon, because those are both,
No, you
very,
should.
very good.
No, you should not do either of those things.
I would say that's almost like telling her to watch Battle for Endor 1 and 2.
Oh, that was going to be my next recommendation.
and the Star
Which is
Wars
on
Christmas
Disney
special.
Plus for all those who want to torture
The
yourself.
Star Wars Christmas special next. Oh man, that'll be our December movie night, right? Probably not.
Oh,
No,
I don't even know if I could do that with a full bottle.
No, we each have our bottle, just drink it out of it. All right, so perfect, Paul. What have you been paying attention to recently?
So, same as everybody else, I think The Bad Batch, which is, again, it's great. And then I've been going back and rewatching some old anime that I am looking forward to. Well, Cowboy Bebop, I'm looking forward to when they finally, hopefully, release the live action. And then I just rewatched one of my favorites of all time, which is Evangelion, which I think we've talked about. But otherwise, just, I just rewatched all of Star Trek The Next Generation because I was bored. And I realized how truly terrible it was, and it was just nostalgia that made me like it, I think. But, otherwise, not much.
That's brutal.
So this is the point that Bewitched is now beginning to chant.
I mean, I think this is kind of a skewed the three of us versus her. I think the Star Wars versus Star Trek thing is something we should get into.
We all chose the war, not the Trek.
Yeah. It has its
And
moments.
a little bit of a Trekkie.
And I like
Next
Star Trek.
Generation is definitely close to my heart.
Yeah. Well,
and it's close to my heart too, but it has some really good episodes, but I just find that for every good episode there's about 6 that I just wanted to skip.
But you can.
There's a lot of those episodes that don't stand up to time.
Yeah.
Anything with Leslie Crusher in it.
and it's funny that you say that because my wife loves Will Wheaton and loved him back then as that was like one of her crushes.
I don't remember him being that horrible. I really
How
don't.
recently have you watched it?
Yeah, I'm excited. Get out of the nostalgia and watch an episode.
Like, has it been 20 years?
No, it has not been 20 years.
don't think he was a bad actor in it. I just think that every story they put him into it,
he's the cause
they
of
wanted
it.
him to be the little whiny kid, or the I can do it when no adult can do it.
It's like Hayden Christensen as Anakin. I don't think he was a bad actor. It was a bad part.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, the more I see Hayden Christensen and other stuff, yeah, he's not anywhere near as bad as he was in Star Wars, which is really sad because he kind of quit acting because of how the bad publicity he got.
Yeah, and then he had Jumper. That was a great movie.
It was okay. It was entertaining.
Because of Sam
I actually
Jackson.
think Samuel L. Jackson does. I think he did a worse part, and I almost didn't like him in that movie.
It is what it is.
I liked it better when he did the same style character when he was in Miss Peregrine's Home for
Oh yeah, that
Wayward
was
Children,
weird.
or-
Yeah. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Well, so what I've been watching. Go ahead.
And it was your echo of
Oh,
yourself.
that was my echo. Great. What I've been that's great. So what I've been watching recently is basically every new anime that has come out on Netflix. Like, and we kind of touched on that in a previous podcast. Like, Netflix is, in my opinion, on fire when it comes to that. They're doing a great job. I just finished up Castlevania, which I thought was
Can I
excellent.
interrupt you for just 1 second on
Yeah,
that?
go ahead.
They just announced Castlevania has been re-upped. And the character is, what's the Belmont from Symphony of the Night?
There is no Belmont.
Yeah, it's Richter's kid. It's Richter's kid.
Richter.
Richter and Sypha's kid.
It's Richter.
Is it Richter's name still?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's their kid. The child, it's their child will be the new main Belmont in the new Castlevania. Just announced like 2 days ago. Sorry, completely forgot about that. I wanted to talk about that earlier.
Okay, well,
I like that. It's going to be fantastic.
So Radis is super excited about this, and so am
Yeah,
I, because I
dude.
really like that show. Yeah, so I've been watching
Anime's
that.
fantastic.
I've been watching that. I've watched The Witcher 6 times. It's background a lot of the times, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I look forward to the second season of that. I'm a little bit behind on The Bad Batch. Haven't seen Loki yet, but as far as a lot of the other stuff, I've kept up with it. The Mandalorian was on point. Fantastic show. If you guys haven't seen it, both seasons are great. I actually I just saw with my daughter, because they released it on Disney where you didn't have to pay for it. It was the Raya and the Last Dragon. That was legit. That was pretty good.
It was good. Yep.
Basically, like with everything going on, I feel like everybody has stepped up their game. I mean, that's what it feels like. Like, people have stepped up their game, and there's just like a decent amount of new stuff coming out that to the point where I can't keep up with it. That's why I haven't seen the last few episodes of The Bad Batch or Loki or a bunch of other stuff that I've been trying to catch up on, because it's just there's not enough time in the day, and I'm a parent and probably shouldn't just watch shows all day long, and that's fine, But yeah, like it basically, I just think that the streaming networks have been killing it and keep doing a good job. You can send us, we're advertising. What do we say? We said Disney. We said Netflix. We'll go ahead. You know what? We just got, what was it, CBS, whatever the one was, so Cammie could watch all the Star Treks. So yeah, all of you, I'm advertising you right now. Send me money. Send me the checks. It's fine.
Except for Peacock. Peacock, you just need to close and just stop whatever it is you think you're doing over there. Sorry. I tried to watch the new Saved by the Bell.
Ugh.
Oh.
That's
that
awful.
was not good.
Cobra Kai is awesome as well. Go ahead.
I will say the Office episodes on Peacock with the additional footage have some very funny moments that it's sad that they didn't make it into the original episodes.
Yeah, when they're trying to scrunch them down to however many minutes, 26 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for sure. So, I would say, they're killing it. Keep doing your thing. He-Man's coming out soon, which is great. Kevin Smith, if I know you're listening right now, if He-Man's good, get your hands on Silverhawks so that we can have that.
Oh, yes.
So please get your hands on that, and please make me a character in there somehow. I would love to be in there, and I don't care. I could be the guy that gets shot out of an airlock. I'm fine with it. So actually, that'd be Marty, because he's always shot out of the airlock.
Yep.
But that kind of thing. So, we kind of touched on it a little bit, as far as Marvel goes. I mean, it's the cinema side of it, but there's, a a lot of literature that's been coming out as well. I kind of think that the comic industry's they've done well and awful at the same time. With and I imagine part of that is because shops being closed down or just people are scared to go out, and comic books are expensive now, so it's a little it's pricey to get this kind of stuff. But has there been any kind of like graphic novels or anything anybody's been checking out lately? Everybody's kind of shaking their head no.
No, unfortunately, I think the last thing I picked up was Gantz Zero, or just Gantz. Sorry, trade back. Other than that, man, I just besides when I come into Rockford and we hit up TSY, man, I just haven't hit any comic shops around here. Just again, the expensive and just kind of conserving money and having other areas where I want to or need to spend money.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not expecting. I know not everybody here is necessarily a comic book reader, but it was just kind of something I threw out there. For me, what I've been doing lately is my daughter and I went, and it's not all the time, but we usually. Maybe every couple of months we've been hitting up the comic shop. They do have limited capacity, so we've been able to go there. And, I've talked about it before. I get her Pokemon cards, but I usually actually buy her a comic book as well. And, I never thought I would, I'm not into it. Into it is not the word, but I've enjoyed reading them with my daughter is Sonic comics, Sonic the Hedgehog. They've got some pretty good stories in there. And I mean, they're continuous stories that aren't just one shots like I'm gonna go jump on this robot and the end. Like there's like intrigue and is Dr. Well, I think they call him Egghead or Eggman or something in there, but it's like, is he the villain or is somebody else the villain or what's going on? Like it's been really neat, like what they've been doing in there.
I would definitely say like not that I've had a huge amount that I've looked at, but a lot of the like what would used to be considered kid comics, the ones that are a little bit easier to read that used to be the standalone stories have definitely gotten away from that, and I think they needed to just so it's a step up. So your daughter starts on Sonic and then maybe moves up to a DuckTales or whatever, but she's getting those overlying story arcs. So then when she does get old enough, it's an easy transition to picking up a Batman or whatever she gets into. So I think that is one thing the comic industry has been doing better. And not saying, okay, if you're, a 4 or 5 year old reader, you want, 4 pages of pictures and the story's done. Where it's like, okay, here's still a standalone, and it still has the pictures and all that to keep the kid interested. But there's an overarching story, so if the kid gets into it, it kind of makes him want to read the next one and promotes reading for kids. Because it's not just a flip book of pictures like comics were when we were younger. It's like, oh, here's the young reader comics. And it was like 6 pages of just pictures.
Yeah, pretty much
story. So it told a story, but it wasn't anything that's like, oh, okay. And then as you get older, you're like, okay, well, that was interesting. Let's pick up this one. And then as you progress, which I think they kind of needed to do because they were kind of dying out as the rest of us get older and are not willing to drop $6 on a comic or $30 on a comic collection, especially in the younger 18 to 20s. Yeah. Definitely not willing to do that.
See Spider-Man. See Spider-Man swing. See Spider-Man catch bad guy. Spider-Man good guy. The end.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty much. Oh, the other thing. I mean, we'll kind of let's go into like we'll kind of take a transition since not a lot of comics reading's been going on. Any other kind of literature? I was actually going to throw this out there. I bought a 4-pack of the Choose Your Own Adventure books. They've had these limited runs where they've been putting them out again, and I've been reading those with my daughter, and it's so hilarious because she is such a cautious, scared child. And if you know anything about those books, when you make all of the cautious, scared choices, your story ends very quickly. There was one where it's like it's something about Stonehenge, and it's like it wasn't Stonehenge, it was like the Colosseum or something. It was called something. It has something to do with the gods and whatever. And it's like you basically sneak into the place and stay there at night because that's when Zeus comes out or whatever. And this is very early in the book. It's like 3 pages in, and it's like your choices are to you basically see lights. Right? So you think that it's security. And it's like, do you hide over here or do you run to this other thing? And my daughter's like, hide. All right, so you hide. And then they catch you. So it was like 3 pages in, the end. You get caught, you go to, whatever jail until your parents come get you. It's or there was another one where it was like she was on a boat, and it's like, do you blow the horn and try to chase away these whatever things, or do you I can't remember, it wasn't hide, it was something else about like paddling away or something. And she's like, well, I'm gonna paddle away, and I'm like, yeah, you're about to get drowned. And sure enough, she gets drowned.
Yep.
So we've only made it to a satisfying conclusion once, and we've read probably, I don't know, read them like 6 or 8 times between the 4. So yeah, it's good stuff. So go ahead.
I was just saying, so kind of in the same vein, do any of you remember, because this is going back to middle school days, the Lone Wolf series of books?
The Lone Wolf. I do
Not
not
like-
remember that.
They were like choose your own adventure books, but they were like fantasy and they were supposed to be like quasi role playing, like you leveled up your character as you went along based on the choices you made. You just made me think of them for some reason.
Oh no, there was one. It was a time traveler one that I had like 2 or 3 of when I was a kid, and I found them. Like I found them on eBay, but I'm not willing to pay $80 for one of these. For a paperback that I have fond memories of, but I don't have to have it. It's that kind of
Yeah,
thing. But,
yeah. $80 for a nostalgia book is a little expensive.
No.
And it might end up being like Star Trek: The Next Generation when you finally get it.
It probably will be. So does anybody else have any literature they've been reading? Any books? Anything like that?
I don't really get the hard copy books, but I do listen to Audible books on my commute to work. And I've kind of been trying to go back and read the more, read/listen to more classic books. So the books I was kind of listening to were Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which
That's awesome.
do several times. But it's one of those, the Chronicles of Narnia, some of the ones that, I don't remember actually reading as a kid, but I always thought I should read when I was a kid. So I'm kind of going back and reading the classics. So that's kind of where I am. Not one of the classics that I'm actually listening to right now is actually Helter Skelter.
The
Manson murders.
Yeah, is that the recent
okay.
one where they talk about MSK and all that stuff? Or MKS or whatever it's called?
MKS.
MK Ultra, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Okay, never mind. We're not going to go to that podcast. I was just curious. It's a conspiracy thing. Don't worry about it. I was just curious if you were getting into that.
Worry about it.
We were going to talk later. It was going to be great. So Paul, anything for you?
Right now, I'm really looking forward to the final book in the Expanse series because it's been great so far, and I'm curious to see how they're going to end it all.
Because it is officially the last book, right?
That's what everybody says. So I guess we'll see. There's a chance, but
Does the author say that?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and the name of the book is, so the original book was Leviathan Wakes, and I believe the title of the last book is Leviathan Falls. So it's going to be, potentially bring the whole story to a finale.
So will the human race survive?
I would guess so. In some form.
I wouldn't do it. I'd be like, and everyone's dead. The end.
Oh, so you would just Martin it. Oh, you like that character? Yep, he's dead.
Oh, yeah. That's the way it should have ended. The long winter should have been the end.
Yep.
But
And
that's
everybody died.
and everyone
The
dies. And then the Night King got bored and killed himself.
Except for the pink tentacle monster.
The pink
Oh, that's
tentacle
a different
monster.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, so you're reading a totally different book than we read.
That's awful.
And I don't
I know what
wanna
you're talking. You're talking about Knights of Sidonia, which which is a great anime.
Okay. Yeah.
Talking about shows where everybody dies or stories where everybody dies.
Everybody hasn't died yet. I mean, they lost, what was it, like 25? Was it the first time they fought one of those creatures, they lost 25% of the entire population of humanity?
Well, and every time, like anytime an episode starts with backstory on a character,
they're dead.
They're dead.
Like, here, meet this character. Know everything about this character in the next 25 minutes, because at minute number 27, they're going to die.
Oh, it's so funny.
This character has worked hard their entire life to be, the best they could possibly be. They're dead.
and very quickly too. It's not even like they have there's no heroic moments. That's why we like it so much, I guess.
They cried and crapped their pants.
Yo. So funny. All right, so we'll move on a little bit. Board games. We've all played some board games, right?
No, not this group.
No, actually, I'll have him talk about it a little bit more. But we had a friend of ours who's been on the show, Big Papa Stace, came into town for the first time in like a year and a half, not that long ago, and Perfect Paul came over, and Radis came into town. But basically, like, everybody came out of the woodworks. It was kind of awesome. And we decided to play a board game one night. And I'm going to go ahead and let Paul take this over because it was his game. If you want to go ahead and explain it a little bit and like kind of what it's about.
Yeah, so the game we played was Marvel United. And if anybody is familiar with the game Pandemic, I would say this is the Marvel superhero version of Pandemic, because you're all working together as a cooperative team against a villain. So it's fairly simple, it's fairly straightforward, but it is a lot of fun, and it's something that is easy to pick up and teach other people to play. So if you have a chance, I think actually it's available at Walmart and Target if you're ever interested in looking for it. It is. But thankfully, I was able to get the Kickstarter version with, 10 times the number of characters in it. But it really was a lot of fun. So the whole game starts with a villain on the board, and you have missions. You have to save civilians. You have to take out thugs and complete other challenges in order to be able to fight the villain. But everyone plays a little bit different. And it pretty much has every character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe that you could be interested in playing in it in the Kickstarter version, that is. But
that's very accurate.
And a lot that you would never have any desire to play.
It's true.
So.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. So kind of going around the table since all of us were there. What were the favorite characters that you guys played? We'll start with Radis.
I don't know if I actually had a favorite. I enjoyed every character. I think they're all diverse enough, but none of them felt like OP. So, I had to play Spider-Man. I enjoyed it. Who else did I play? I played Hulk. He played completely different than Spider-Man does, and I enjoyed it too. So I don't know if I ever really did have a favorite in that. Because like I said, I think the game is done really, really well. So every character I saw played looked fun. None of them came out to a point where it's like, oh, you got stuck with
Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Howard Duck had at least two.
I was about to say that Hawkeye was my favorite one to play.
I looked at you when I said that. But as I said, the game doesn't have that. There's not that, who wants to be forced to play this one character. Every character had its uses and had enough play difference where they were all fun and unique.
Yeah.
And just the mechanic of what the player to your right, their cards that they played affects what you get to do too. So it automatically makes every character important. So there's never just I'm not going to get to do anything because my character kind of blows except for in one situation, because you're always piggybacking what the last hero did. So I thought it was a pretty cool mechanic.
Yeah.
And I will say there is one exception, because there is Spider-Ham, and he should never be played.
Why is that? Just because he's Spider-Ham?
He's terrible.
He's a pig.
And he has mostly useless cards in his deck. So
well, it is what it is.
He is Spider-Ham.
So Bewitched already chimed in. She liked Hawkeye. Who else did you play? Do you remember that night?
I don't remember. It was a girl. Was it Captain Marvel? I think it was Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think you had Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Well,
who you have cosplayed at? Who you have cosplayed as, by the way?
Say that again.
You cosplayed as her once.
I did. But one of the villains, I think, what was it? Deadshot?
Yeah.
Bullseye.
Or Bullseye. Yeah, you're right.
that bullseye, and I just thought it was hilarious that every time that they actually, had a turn to, try and hit someone, they never hit anybody. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody took damage that entire game.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Nope. Bullseye who never misses, and every time he was up to his attack, he's going to attack these 2 squares. No one's there.
Yeah, he's awful.
Attack these 2 squares. No one's there.
Well, the thing you don't know is he killed everyone in those squares. They just weren't us.
Yeah, we just weren't there to see it.
So Paul, I know this is your game, but what's your favorite character in there right now?
I think my favorite character probably is, we didn't play him that night, but is Doctor Strange. He just has some interesting abilities, and Mantis is pretty good too. Both of them have just unique abilities to manipulate what the villain gets to do. So it can be very useful, or you can have a card in your hand that just never helps anybody out the entire game. So I guess it's a gamble with both of them.
Yeah. And then I played I had Captain America first. And Captain America is exactly who you think he would be. Like, he's very helpful. He's always giving things to other people and doing that thing, but he's not altogether super powerful as far as the cards go. But my favorite one of the night, I played the Punisher. And what I loved about the Punisher is he has virtually no cards that help anyone else, and has a lot of cards that are kind of okay. So how the game works is, depending on what people have played previously, it can potentially help you. Punisher doesn't do that. He helps nobody ever. He just takes care of his own business, and it was just kind of awesome. I liked it a lot.
And 75% of his action icons are attacks, which again,
if not
it's Punisher.
more. Yeah, he doesn't save. He doesn't do a whole lot. He just kills people.
He doesn't save civilians.
No, he doesn't.
No. Why would you do that?
Yeah. And then so that was a pretty legit game. I'd say check it out if you get an opportunity out there. I don't know what the retail is on right now, but it was.
I don't think
fun.
it's expensive. I think it's only right around $40 because I don't think
See,
Target or Walmart
started.
really carries. I don't even think they're Jaws of the Lion. I think that's it. It's
like 40 there.
Gloomhaven. Yeah, I think it's only 40 there. So
yeah,
and
and then
becoming a better place to pick up better board games that aren't ridiculously expensive. So
yeah. And then I know during this last year and a half we've had some board gaming events. We again we've got a couple of previous podcasts that have to do with board games if you want to listen to that at the Game Again with Jason. We're gonna have another one of those actually this next coming Friday.
6 days.
Yep, which will probably be before this podcast is released, and that's okay. But we could talk about that afterwards as well. But yeah, we've played some games. I know that I've picked up a couple of games that I played with some neighbors of ours. Sushi Go. It's a little card game. It's cutesy. It's been a lot of fun to play. Easy to learn. Very we'll call it a friendly game. And then we also played a game called. This game has not been play tested, I believe is what it's called. It is hilarious. Replayability. In the long run, I don't think it has it if you play with the same people all the time.
I think it's a game that the replayability is a drinking night. You can play that all night drinking.
Yes,
but
you could.
Like a board game night, it's probably first half hour. Break the ice, get everyone in the mood for playing games.
Yep.
So.
And then I remember one night, Bewitched came over with Percy, and we played. Was it Exploding Unicorns? Or no, not Exploding Unicorns. What was it called? Unstable Unicorns. Yeah, and that was a fun time.
That is definitely a very fun game. With Unstable Unicorns, it's much more fun to play with at least 3 players, because with 2 players, you're having to take out almost half the deck, because if you get with one card, you're gonna win. And it's really unfair. So playing with more than 3 people or more is really encouraged.
Yeah.
But you could play that over.
Yeah. And then more recently, we played Cosmic Encounters, I believe it was, for the first time. Yep. That one was pretty fun. Definitely a lot of variability there as far as what you can do with your characters, and I recommend that every time you play an alien race, you take it out of the deck until you get through them all, just so you have an opportunity to play through all of them because there's so many. Any agreement or
yeah? No. Yeah.
I think if you have all the
Definitely.
expansions, there's like, what, 200 alien races to play?
Oh my gosh, that's
Something like that.
so
Pretty
crazy.
close. And they all play totally different. So
Yeah. We also played was it Dune? What was it called?
Just Dune.
Yeah. It's
we
basically
played just
they
yeah.
they re-released the board game that was made way back in the day for Dune, and it is pretty legit. Had a lot of fun. We'll talk about that a little bit more because when the movie Dune comes out,
later in the year.
yeah, we're gonna throw a podcast out about kind of all things Dune, and so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But we had a lot of fun with that, so I recommend buying that. We got the expand. There's one expansion for it, which was a lot of fun. I mean, every faction that you can play has something that's just just ridiculous, and you know, it is a game that you play when you like to screw over other people, and I love it. Like it's a lot of fun. And I especially like the factions where they're not necessarily going to win outright, but they're going to choose the winner, and because they choose the winner, they're the winner. That's fun to me. I actually like the way that works. So, but that was a lot of fun. So, anybody have any other board games they want to throw out there, or like those kind of games, card games, board games, anything that you've?
Waiting for my Frosthaven to finally show up. If it'll ever get out of production,
That's never going to
can't wait to
happen.
play. The last update, they got closer. Stuff's off to the printer, but they're still also working on other things. So
Nice.
COVID kind of screwed them, just like everyone else. Ooh, they did talk, and this is just kind of a random bit of note, but they were in the update just talking about like other board game companies that had done Kickstarter. And part of the Kickstarter, when they were looking at how much money they were going to make, knew they weren't going to make any money because shipping costs. But shipping costs have almost 6 times, because I think it was something like $34,000 to ship out all the Kickstarters, and currently to do the same shipment, which has not shipped yet, is 600 and something thousand. So like the company itself is going, okay, we weren't going to make any money in the Kickstarter, but now at this point it may bankrupt the company to fulfill the Kickstarter. So
one of the games I kickstarted, like they sent out, I want to say it's been probably 14 months ago. They sent out and they had the pictures of everything being loaded into the freight container in China. You know, all the boxes all piled up. They had the, showing it leaving, that, they were so happy it was headed to the boat, so it should make it to the U.S. in, a month or two, whatever, however long it takes, and that everybody should have them. It sat on the dock for 12 and a half months, I think, until they finally were able to get themselves their spot on the boat. So, you got to think all this stuff has been messing everybody up, and it's funny in its own way, but it's kind of annoying because, you can understand the frustration on both sides of it, because people want their games, but at the same time, the company wants to get it done too, so they can get it out to everybody and be done with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Well, because that company, you understand what's going on, but how many people out there on the Kickstarter are going, this was supposed to be shipped 12 months ago, I'll never deal with this company ever again.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if that company was a fantastic company, made a great game, was on schedule, and then stuff completely out of anyone's control screwed over the company.
Well, and yeah.
Dang it.
And if you ever read comments on Kickstarter, people are completely unrealistic with their expectations.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm telling you, if I kickstart something and they say it's going to be done on Tuesday, it better be teleported into my house that afternoon. Otherwise,
on Wednesday,
I'm not
I better have it.
and it better be wrapped in gold leaf.
Gold leaf? I was thinking platinum, but whatever.
I think I donated $5. It better be platinum.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. So kind of, so we've kind of been going down topics, right? We've got talked about movies, talked about like literature, comics, print, that kind of stuff. We got some board games, right? So what about video games? What's been your poison? Which I'm sure that the three of us here are gonna talk about something a little bit here. But like
a
what?
little bit.
Well, that's again that's
We'll
safe
keep
for a
it down.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll keep it trimmed.
But what video games have you been playing in the spare time? I know I've got a couple, but we'll go ahead and get started with Bewitched because she's smiling.
Because I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be the girl in the group.
I'm playing one of the same games, so it's fine.
Yeah, so pretty much I don't have a lot of time for video games right now, but the one regular game that I keep playing is Animal Crossing. And it's kind of funny because my kids were kind of trying to get me to play it for a long time. And I kept saying, well, what's the point of the game? And they couldn't really explain it to me. And then finally I had, it was actually Matt's wife was playing. And I asked, well, what's the point of the game? And she's like, oh, well, it's just kind of relaxing and you can just kind of go in and play and whatever. So I played it and then I got completely hooked and now I feel like I play it more than my kids. So we're in the process of completely redoing our island. So our island's like half empty right now, but
that's how it works. Yeah. Yeah. And did you ever, what was that? What was the thing? I saw you, well, you actually texted me and then you threw something on Facebook about you needed some materials. What were you trying to make? Do you remember?
There's a couple things. So what I really want to make, I have the recipe for it. It's a bonsai shelf. And one of the ingredients is the cherry blossom bonsai tree. And I have the cherry blossoms to make it, but I don't have the recipe for it. So I need a cherry blossom bonsai tree.
So for all the listeners out there, this is an opportunity for you to help a sister out. You can leave a comment. We can get you guys hooked up on the interwebs, and you can, help her make her piece of furniture or bonsai weird thing that,
Bonsai shelf.
Yeah. No, I'll kind of piggyback off that. Animal Crossing, I played that back in my college days. Well, college and shortly after college, and it was pretty addictive. I know Ryan, who's been on the show, he's the Drakkar Ryan, as we call him. He played that as well. He brought his little game card over, and we would go to each other's towns. My friend LJ played it quite a bit, and we just it's not a game that you're going to play and there's not really any big story to it or anything like that, but it's relaxing. You could play it for 10 minutes and do a few things and then shut it off, and it's not a big deal. Just make sure you weed your islands. Keep those weeds out of there.
So right now that we're talking about Animal Crossing, I'm thinking, oh, it's Saturday. I really need to go talk to KK before I go to bed.
Get your song. That's hilarious. No, it's a fun game though. I recommend it for people who have kids because my daughter loves playing it as well. My wife likes playing it. I don't play it that much right now, but I'll pop in once in a while, and it's still fun. So, yeah, definitely recommend that one. Raidus. Let's not talk about the big one, but what have you been playing besides that one?
I'm going to mention it, but I won't mention it at the start. I've been playing Destiny 2. Trying to get enough people up to run the newest raid, which is a throwback to D1. Been playing a lot more World of Tanks on PlayStation and World of Warships. Those are fantastic free games. Other than that, besides the release of TBC, that pretty much has been eating up my time for video games.
Yeah, for the last couple of
Ratchet
weeks.
And Clank. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank's got a new game. It's either just came out or getting ready to come out. I don't remember the release date on it is. That one looks interesting, but I think it's a $60 game. I don't know if I'll pick it up until it hits the $20 mark.
It's actually making me want to buy a PS5 just to play that game because that's my favorite, one of my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, if you can get your hands on a PlayStation 5, you can do any console gaming for PlayStation. It's so night and day difference on what the PlayStation 5 can do versus the 4. It's just the almost no load times on everything. Just playing Destiny, so Destiny's ships are just a glorified load screen. It's all they are. It's what they've always been. It used to take it could take up to 3 to 4 minutes for a PlayStation 4 to go from point A to point B if you were in space. PlayStation 5's load time 30 seconds. Like I've loaded in and started a strike and gotten to like the first little area before other players in my fire team have even loaded onto the planet. The load times are just that much faster. So,
well, so everybody buy a PS5 now, I guess.
If you can get it, said it's still expensive and ridiculously hard to find. So.
Yeah. So, Paul, what games have you been playing?
Besides the one we're not mentioning.
Yeah, we will mention it.
Yeah. But actually, most of my time has been spent playing some of the old RPGs from back in the day. I have an emulator running, so currently I am 25 hours into Final Fantasy VII, which it is a long way from getting anything accomplished, and I'm trying to decide if I'm going to spend 10 or 15 hours of my life racing chocobos or not. But
now
wait? Is
it you say it's an emulator? Is it an emulator of the old version?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because in the newer the remastered versions, they streamline that process.
Oh no, I'm not playing the new version. I'm playing the original PlayStation version.
Still a great game.
Yeah, just don't race Chocobos. Just go get your Master Summon, and that's all you need.
Do it.
You can't get your Master Summon without the Chocobo, though.
Yeah.
You get one free gold Chocobo to get out to that island. One, because I never raced a single Chocobo. That's why I also only had one Master Summon.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, what I've been doing, I've been collecting via eBay and thrift stores and everything else, a bunch of it's funny that I'm calling them vintage, but some vintage video games, mostly for my original Xbox. I picked up Hunter the Reckoning. I picked up I picked that up before. It was Godzilla Save the Earth. Both of the X-Men Legends games. I was a big fan of both of those. I'm currently working on getting Gauntlet Dark Legacy for the Xbox. The reason why I'm trying to get everything for the Xbox is because I have 4 working controllers, and these are all like 4-player games, ARPGs, which again, you keep saying that's a podcast for later. We're going to do a podcast on ARPGs after we have like a guy night where we play a bunch of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The big one that I picked up, and I was so excited to get it. I haven't played it yet. I just haven't gotten around to it, but was Battlestar Galactica for the original Xbox. It is a starfighter game, so you're flying the Vipers, and man, I remember the controls on them were so ridiculous as far as the control you had over your ship. You could be going full tilt in one direction, and then you have to hit a certain set of keys to be able to do it correctly. But you could literally flip 180 degrees, fire your engines and head in the other direction. And just the control that you have over these ships was ridiculous. So it is a flight simulator, but very excited that I got that. Now, all these games to say, besides Godzilla Save the Earth, because I actually play that with my daughter sometimes. It's not a good game. The controls aren't good, but it's just fun to play. But this is the game that we actually just started playing, which the game that shall not be named is Burning Crusade Classic. So World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic. So far, having a lot of fun with it. It's only been out for 2 weeks now ish.
Yeah, June 1st or 5th.
Yeah, something like that. So been a lot of fun. We'll probably talk more about this because we have a series of Westco regulators, which is mostly World of Warcraft, but it's a guild that we've had through multiple games and everything. But we're going to have a series of those too. So we'll probably talk about that a little bit more as well. But it's been a lot of fun so far. So kind of winding down on the general topics here. Got one last question for you guys. Is that with things starting to open up and providing that they do continue to open up, what are some of the things you're looking forward to doing entertainment wise? So we're actually going to go out of order this time. So we'll start with Perfect Paul. What are you looking forward to?
be perfectly honest, I really am looking forward to at some point going back to the movie theater. I'm hoping everything is opened up and good by the time Dune comes out.
Agreed.
Because that definitely will be seen at the movie theater.
All of us. All of us.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Even you, Bewitched, if you don't want to, I'm dragging you there. It's going to be great.
I would say we're going to drag Jeff there too, right?
Oh, I think he wants to see it. He's read the book. He read the original. So that'll be great. But no,
other than that, just some other outdoor activities. My brother got a kayak recently. That's actually quite a bit of fun. We've been doing that. And, you know, and not that I couldn't previously, but just more outdoor, going hiking and those type of things, just because it's something I enjoy, and I really need to get back into shape, or a little bit better shape than I have been for the last year.
Hey, rounds of shape.
That's awesome. I might ask to join you one of these days, but it'll be like, hey, are you doing something relatively easy? Because I haven't done any hiking in
are you like
25 years.
To the driveway?
No. I mean, no, that's cool. I mean, that's kind of what I'm, a lot of what I'm thinking about too. So, Bewitched, what are you looking forward to? Going to the movies, seeing Dune with you guys.
Well, yeah. So to be completely honest, my social life really hasn't changed much.
There's a world pandemic. I didn't even notice.
I have a perfect excuse to stay at home and not talk to people. It's great.
Most of the time, I wait until movies come out on DVD or streaming, and I watch it on streaming. Okay, I occasionally go to the movies, very rarely, maybe once or twice a year. So I'm really not missing out on too much. I kind of like Paul. I'm pretty active I'm active with Scouts, with Boy Scouts of America. So I'm really hoping that starts getting back to normal. We finally got back to where we can camp again. So we got camping last week, but
one person per tent. Said one person per tent.
One person per tent. So there's a lot of different things you have to do. If you are driving from one place to another, you can't have anybody in the middle seat, and everybody in the car has to have a mask on. I'm like, it's making things difficult. Everybody has to have their own tent. You can't share a tent because COVID. You can't, like, a parent can't be in the same tent as a child because BSA rules. There's a lot of.
But how are you going to sneak over to the Girl Scout camp across the way and sneak them into your tent?
No.
What if you just wrap the kids in? What if you wrap the kids in saran wrap before you put them in the tent?
So first of all,
I already know where you're going with this, but
Bewitched is going to kill all of us.
First of all, Girl Scouts don't go to the Boy Scout camp.
That's why you just sneak over and get them.
Okay, no, I'm gonna.
Females in Scouts BSA do. We have to keep an eye on that, and they're all part of Boy Scouts of America. So we do have to keep an eye on that.
And they're all of that age.
Yes, indeed.
Where they would never do anything.
Where they would never do anything naughty. Yeah.
Where they think that they're not going to get caught.
Oh man.
But they're all very good scouts. We're trustworthy. So
just know how to.
Well, that's part of it. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
So trust but verify.
Nice. So, Raidus, what are you looking forward to?
Obviously movies, but I think the big one that no one here has mentioned, because I think I'm probably the one who does the most of them, conventions. So Gen Con, Archon, Daikon, Dragon Con is one I've been wanting to go to, but it's like now it's like all these conventions over the last 2 years, because they were even canceling them before, not just for COVID, for other stuff. But you missed all of last year. We've missed half of this season. Gen Con's moved their normal schedule to September, I want to say, this year, just to try to get back into some form of normalcy. Archon here in the St. Louis area is going on, but they have not been able to release any guidelines for whether it's masks or not. there are a lot of people that think kind of the same way we do here. So, if they have to wear masks, you have to wear masks by law. But if, Illinois opens up where there is not a mask mandate, they are not going to dictate that you wear masks. But, that is up in the air still. So I'm really looking forward for just getting back and doing that and being able to see new stuff, hang out with people that are, Archon, I get to hang out with a lot of people there that I only get to hang out with at one time a year. And then there's a couple guys there that, I try to hang out a little more often, but, just started hanging out with them once every few months, and then this happens, and so haven't been able to hang out with them. So looking forward to that, just more interaction with, face-to-face interaction with like-minded geek people.
Yeah, so. and in the last, it hasn't been posted yet. It should be posted in the next couple days. So by the time this gets posted, it's already been posted. Anyways, the talking to Abby, she was doing TeslaCon? Yeah. So yeah, we might be going to TeslaCon. What did she say? It was November. I can't remember. It was a little bit later.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to that podcast to find out when that convention is.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you on the convention thing. Movies for sure. I was really upset that because they've pushed Dune. Dune has been done, right? And they pushed it back. They originally pushed it back until December of this year, but currently it says October, at least whatever says. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that movie. That may be the first movie that I see in a theater again, since all this went down. Hopefully my gift cards that everybody got me for different things are still good. Could be interesting. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to, I posted this on the Facebook page, and this will kind of be part of the plugs, and I don't have to do it later, but Top Cut Comics, as well as Cataclysm Games, are opening their game rooms to be able to be used and play in again, which is great. Those are two businesses that I've through this whole thing, you guys have heard me talk about them and telling you guys to support them. And even if you don't buy stuff there, send people to buy stuff there if they're looking for things. Check it out. Buy a pack of Pokemon cards, buy a dice set, buy a comic book, just something to keep those guys rolling. They're both great organizations. But I was super excited to see that they were opening up their game rooms. A quick story: Cataclysm, before everything went down, I brought my wife. It was I believe Radis and Marty were there on this occasion, but my wife and my daughter were there as well. So I think the only time they've gone in, and they had the playroom open. So this is before everything, and like my wife and my daughter were looking around the playroom, and there was people doing miniatures and board games and all different things. And one of the guys that were setting up the miniatures were like, "Hey, do you want to look at these?" And he was like showing them all the things. And these people are, obviously they have a lot of passion for it, and all their pieces were beautiful and all of that. But like they were just like really friendly, and that's just kind of, it'll be nice to kind of have that friendly atmosphere again, instead of everybody looking at you funny, like if you sneeze because you have allergies, like, oh, like everybody's freaking out. I mean, I think that's the way it'll be for a little while. But it'll be nice to actually to just be able to have camaraderie again. It's something, whether you agree with what we've done or not on this podcast, all of us have seen each other. Most of us have been vaccinated and or had COVID. And the ones that haven't had COVID and or not been vaccinated are kind of the minority, so they're pretty safe in our group because we've all had it and or been vaccinated, if that makes sense. So we've had smaller groups than normal, but it'll be nice to potentially have a good bash before too long, and be able to hug you guys again, and just for those who like hugs, I do. But and just have that camaraderie again. I'm super looking forward to it. So yeah. So we kind of already did a few plugs. Does anybody have anywhere they'd like to plug right now, by chance, besides Top Cut and Cataclysm Games, which again, shop with them. They're great people and great organizations. Anybody? Nope. A couple of head and shakes and whatever. All right, Ray, just plug the channel.
Yep. All right. So we are the Game Files Podcast. You will find our Facebook group at the Game Files Podcast on Facebook. We are a public group now officially, so you should be able to find us. We're pretty open topics. Family friendly. Keep it that way. Otherwise, I will boot you. Luckily, I haven't had to boot anybody yet, but we're just throwing it out there. Keep it family friendly. We are the Game Files PC at Twitter and Instagram. Instagram is still not up and running. I know this is probably the third or fourth podcast I've mentioned it on, but COVID and the Burning Crusade and just life in general has kind of slowed me down on my social media. Twitter out there, I've been slacking off on it too, but just posted something. So give us a shout out there, follow it. Hopefully I'll get some more topics out there, maybe a heads up on some upcoming podcasts. And then the email is the gamefilespodcast at gmail.com. So you can always email us there. Any questions, comments, you can tell us we suck, or you can tell us, hey, I really like that subject, which you do more. We're pretty open. We read emails, we read comments. So we definitely promote you guys to reach out, just as with when we had you guys vote for intro music. We want your feedback. You guys this is as much about you guys as it is about us. We want this to be an open community. We've all just gone the last year and a half of our lives not being able to hang out with friends and do stuff. So through this new digital age, that's kind of what this podcast is kind of becoming about, is just bringing more people together, whether it's just an insider conversation, make fun of each other, whatever you need to do for friends. But that's kind of what we want to do. So
awesome. Yeah, all kinds of good stuff. And I'll just kind of piggyback on that. We do, once we hit the 100 member mark on the Facebook page, I know that's not a huge thing. We are super close to that. I will have a contest where there will be some prizes, and then we will pick the next milestone to do the next thing. Also, we're closing in on 1,000 downloads. I'm very excited about that. So thank you to all the listeners out there. We really appreciate you. If you, again, like Rita said, if you like what we do, let us know what you like. If you don't like stuff, let us know what you don't like. This is your guys' podcast as much as it is ours. Also, we appreciate those who participated in the choosing the intro music for our podcast. So, for those who voted for that, thank you for that. And thank you for Keith for actually doing that for us. And, hopefully you're still listening. What's that?
You'll have to listen to the next podcast to see who won.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you go. I saved for you making that decision.
Yeah, that's all good. But definitely appreciate you guys. Appreciate the guests tonight. So as always, Perfect Paul, thanks for joining us.
Thanks. Everybody have a good night.
Bewitch, thanks for joining us as well.
You again for having me.
All right, and Radis, as always, thanks for being with us.
Always, man, always.
All right, and you all have a good night. Take care.
Peace.
I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone.